Hey, welcome to Night Convos. Okay, so I get that a lot of us, most of us know that Gypsy is a narcissist and a pathological liar, right? But as we continue to do videos going over the emails that have come out, and as other content creators continue to go over the emails that have come out, and all of this information, we kind of felt like it was important to look back at some things and go over some facts. Just as a reminder and to kind of refresh our memories. But real quick, thank you so very much to all of our subscribers. We are so grateful for every single one of you that have been with us from the beginning all the way to now. Thank you so much to all of our new subscribers and welcome. We are so grateful for every one of you. We honestly are. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. And we would truly appreciate it. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions about all of this in the comment section down below, and we'll be conversating with y'all like always. So we know a lot of you have seen our videos that we did where Gypsy was claiming that everything that was done to her was malpractice, pretty much, right? I think she said the only thing she needed was her eye surgery or something, and that's it, which she only had 4 surgeries, but she said she's had over 30-something surgeries. That's nowhere in her medical documents. But I want us to look back at just 2 of her documents from her medical records and talk about them. In our previous videos that we did, we showed y'all how none of the procedures or surgeries that were done on Gypsy, including her feeding tube, it wasn't unnecessary. We showed y'all that everything that was done to her was absolutely necessary for her to sustain life, literally. But looking at this document, this is where an anesthesiologist was literally going to cancel her oral surgery, her dental surgery, due to what we're about to look at. And she says that her mom just took her to the dentist, rubbed Orajel on her gums, said that she was drooling so much and, complained so much about her that they just ripped all of her teeth out of her head for no reason at all. Which we all know there's so many factors that go into why Gypsy lost her teeth. One of them being she sucked on a baby bottle with sugary Pedialyte in it until she was 24 years old, all the way up till the unaliving of her mom. She even packed bottles with her when she would run away. But even the removal of her teeth was warranted. It was not something that was done unnecessarily. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember also where Gypsy claimed that her mom had incompetency papers on her, and that's why she was so scared to run away. And then in her book, we have her book posted on our channel, every chapter of it, except for I think the last few. We need to post the last few. We apologize about that. We truly do. Because her show was starting and everything, we kind of had to stop with her book for just a little while. But we'll get those posted and get it all those chapters put in a playlist for all of the people that are interested. Also, side note, by the way, I wanted to let y'all know real quick that hubby and I posted a video, an updated video about baby Westlin from Tennessee, the baby that was abandoned that we did a video on a few days ago. More information came out about that Saturday evening, and we posted a video about that just a little bit ago for those of you who want to go and watch that. But going back to Gypsy, a lot of us remember in her book, she stated in one of the chapters that she had found her birth certificate and social security card, all of her documents stating that she was an adult and that she knew how old she was. And she finally had these documents to prove how old she was. And remember, she said she called Dan up to tell Dan that she was upset because she found all these documents, and her mom called her on the phone with Dan and made her get in the van, drove her down a back alley, and beat her until her legs were black and blue and she had bruises all over her legs. First of all, you knew you could walk. Why wouldn't you just get up, Gypsy? Just, stand up with your two legs, get the flip up, and get out, because Gypsy was in the back seat. She was explaining how her mom turned around to the back seat to beat on her legs and leave all these bruises. Well, why didn't you, if that's true, which we don't believe, but if that was true, why did you not get up and get out of the van and run? Seriously, that's just like, we'll never get the answer to why did you unalive your mom. You say it was because of all these procedures that were done to you, which everything you say has been proven to be a lie. So there is absolutely, seriously speaking, no answer as to why she took her mother off the face of this earth, other than for selfish gains. But the surgery to remove her teeth was literally ceased until Gypsy, Dee Dee, the social worker they were working with, and their attorney got it all together and figured out. And that's when Gypsy decided she would sign, saying that her mom could make decisions on her behalf if Gypsy became incapacitated. So we know her mom did not have incompetency papers on her. Even if her mom tried, y'all can see in the documents we're about to look at that the social worker said no, because Gypsy didn't need it. She was capable of being over her own decisions. Nick wasn't, though. But does Gypsy care? No. So take a look at this document right here from August 19th, 2013. This is almost a month after Gypsy turned 22 years old. Right around the time she started planning the unaliving of her mom, and had already tried to unalive her mom herself. With the BB pew pew and stuff, yeah. But had started planning it with Nick. So at the top up here, this is a social work progress note entered on August 19th, 2013 at 15:05 Central Time, which is 2:05 p.m. Okay, so it says SW is for social worker. Social worker received phone call Friday, August the 16th. Now remember, this progress note is being put into the system, typed up and put into the system on the 19th. They received a phone call Friday, August 16th from patient's mom, that would be Dee Dee, stating that the patient being Gypsy, had been scheduled for a PAT and an HNP, which is done in the medical field all the time before you go into surgeries or anything like that. A PAT stands for a pre-admission testing. It usually involves tests like blood testing so that they know what blood type you are in case you end up needing blood during surgery, things like that, and a review of the patient's current health status to ensure their well-being before, during, and after dental procedures in this case, or whatever type of surgery you're having. An HMP is a history and physical. It involves collecting the patient's comprehensive medical history, including past illnesses, surgeries, allergies, medications, allergies to medications, and family medical history. It also entails a thorough physical examination to assess the patient's current health and fitness for the planned dental procedure in this case, and any anesthesia involved. This is particularly important for high-risk procedures, surgeries, and procedures requiring anesthesia. So Dee Dee called in on August 16th and said, hey, Gypsy has the PAT and the HMP scheduled for August 21st and dental rehab surgery on August 22nd. And that's what they usually do. Usually anywhere from a day before a surgery to a week before a surgery, they will do these testings, these types of tests. It says patient's mom stated that they typed that twice. Patient's mom stated that patient's mom, and whoever typed this typed that twice. Patient's mom, Dee Dee, stated that she had made an appointment with an attorney to seek guardianship of patient, being Gypsy. So Dee Dee let the social worker know that she had an appointment with an attorney to seek guardianship over Gypsy. Now again, this was right after Gypsy turned 22. The social worker contacted, that's a hard name to pronounce, but it's basically Dr. Grau. The social worker contacted Dr. Grau to confirm that she was comfortable continuing with the surgery if guardianship was being sought, because that can be very important, right? Like they're in the middle of trying to decipher whether Gypsy can make decisions on her own or not, or whether she needs her mom to make decisions for her. And they're in the middle of working with an attorney on figuring this out. So the social worker contacted the dentist, the oral surgeon, to say, hey, are you comfortable with performing this surgery even though Dee Dee is trying to get guardianship over Gypsy as of right now, and there's no decision that's been made yet? Dr. Grau stated that she was comfortable with it. She was okay with doing the surgery, but suggested to the social worker contacting the OR board, the operating room board runner, to determine if anesthesiology would be comfortable with it. Anesthesiology stated that if guardianship was being sought, they were not comfortable moving forward until that was finalized. So it's kind of like this oral surgeon said, yeah, she would go through with the surgery, but kind of put it off on anesthesiology to make the decision. But they said, no, we're not doing the surgery unless, or until guardianship is determined, right? Because what if they go through with the surgery and then Gypsy was deemed incapable of making decisions for herself? They could run into all kind of legal problems, amongst other problems. So I agree with the anesthesiologist saying, no, we're not going to do the surgery until a decision is made. The social worker contacted Dr. Grau and Gladys, the dental clinic manager, to let them know, and Dr. Grau made the decision to cancel the surgery. So now the oral surgeon has made the decision to completely cancel the surgery. Anesthesiology said they weren't going to be a part of it. They would not give Gypsy any type of anesthesia during the surgery if guardianship had not been finalized. So that being the case, the oral surgeon, Dr. Grau, said, okay, I'm canceling the surgery. The social worker received a phone call from the clinic manager stating that the patient and the patient's mom have drafted a POA, which we'll get into the POA and the DPOA in just a second. But the social worker received a call from the dental clinic manager stating that Dee Dee and Gypsy had drafted a POA. The social worker spoke via telephone with the patient's mom, Dee Dee, and their attorney, Sativa Sloan, to clarify information. The patient, being Gypsy's attorney, stated that because the patient had never been deemed incapacitated, she could not move forward with seeking guardianship. Patient's attorney stated that she believes a judge will not authorize guardianship because patient's cognitive delays, that proves right there that Gypsy did have cognitive delays, but the attorney saying that Gypsy's cognitive delays are not severe enough to warrant it. So they're not significant enough to warrant Dee Dee needing guardianship over Gypsy. But she did have cognitive delays. As such, patient's mom has drafted a POA, but Gypsy Rose will plan to sign consents for herself. So Dee Dee is saying, we drafted a POA and Gypsy plans to sign consents for surgeries or anything like that for herself. Dee Dee said that. Dee Dee let the social worker and the attorney, everyone know that Gypsy is planning to sign consents for herself. So that proves that right there, Gypsy. So how do you explain that, Gypsy? Social worker notified clinic manager who states that she will follow up with Dr. Grau. Social worker notified anesthesiology. Social worker will remain available and will advise patient's mom once lodging arrangements are finalized with Medicaid. Because remember, she got this surgery done through, I can't remember if it was, I don't think it was the Ronald McDonald House. I think it was the Children's Mercy Hospital, and they gave them lodging and everything through Medicaid while she was getting this surgery done. Okay, now look at this document from Children's Mercy Hospital. This is about the legal information. This legal information was entered on August 21st, 2013. You can see it in bold print at the top, and you can see it highlighted in green down at the bottom, where I have an arrow drawn to it. Okay, this says legal information, the patient's legal name, Gypsy Rose Alcida Blanchard, and she spelled it with an E. Primary caregiver, mother. Date of referral, August 21st, 2013. Source of referral, staff request. Reason for referral, assistance with securing existing legal documents. Review and verify validity of legal documents. And it says notarized documents, yes. And then it gives you the date that the documents were notarized, which was August 19th. And then the name of the person that notarized the documents. So they went through a lot before they done any type of procedure on Gypsy. And they definitely went through, and you can see it because they definitely went through a lot just to, quote, rip Gypsy's teeth out of her head, as her and her brainless cult minions like to say. That they ripped her teeth out for no reason. That's so awful of Dee Dee to do. Well, Dee Dee didn't grab a dad-blame pair of pliers and make Gypsy open her mouth and say, here, I'm going to rip all your teeth out. No, that's not what happened. But if you hear them talk, They make it sound like that's what happened. So in the middle here it says legal documents, narrative. Patient is able to consent for herself. DPOA is consistent with CMH, Children's Mercy Hospital, consent policy and authorizes patient's mother, Claudinia Blanchard, to consent to patient's medical care and needs in the event Gypsy Rose is incapacitated and unable to consent. And then it says, please see progress note dated August 19th for detailed information about patient's ability to consent for herself, which is the document we just looked at. And then the plan is for the social worker to remain available for them. And then highlighted right down here in purple, it says, I, Gypsy Rose Alcida Blanchard, she didn't put an E on it there, date of birth 7/27, so July 27th, 1995. Now this was documented when Gypsy was 22 years old. Gypsy knew how old she was at this time, and we know that because she found the documents. If we go by what Gypsy says, she found the documents proving her age way before this when she ran off with Dan, or right after she ran off with Dan, trying to call him up to prove to him, I'm not underage, I really am of age. You know, all of that. When she claimed her mom made her come back home, when no, her mom just went after her to get her money and prescription pain medication back. Yeah. But Gypsy still lied about her age right here. But even if she was born in 1995, this was on August 21st of 2013, that would make her 18 years old. That would still make her an adult. So I don't know what games Gypsy was trying to play here by putting the wrong birth date, but for whatever reason, she did. I, Gypsy Rose Alcida Blanchard, date of birth July 27, 1995, of Greene County, Missouri, do hereby appoint my mother, Claudinia Blanchard, my agent, to give consent to or prohibit any type of health care, medical care, treatment, or procedure on my behalf in the event I lack capacity to make health care decisions for myself. Okay, now look at this, because some people get a POA and a DPOA confused or may not even know what it is, period. Excuse me, y'all. A power of attorney is a POA. It stands for a power of attorney. And a DPOA is a durable power of attorney. Both grant someone the authority to act on another person's behalf. The key difference is that a DPOA remains in effect even if the person who granted the power becomes incapacitated, while a standard POA typically terminates upon incapacity. So a POA can be handy if, for example, you're going to be out of the country for a couple of weeks or a month, something like that. It appoints another person, the agent or an attorney, in fact, to act on their behalf for specific purposes. It can be used for different things such as financial transactions, property management, or even healthcare decisions. But the POA automatically terminates if the person that appointed you as their POA becomes incapacitated, like in a coma, for example, or they happen to pass away. A DPOA, durable power of attorney, is often used for long-term situations, like situations where the person appointing you as DPOA may become incapacitated due to illnesses or injuries. And they're saying if they become incapacitated, they want you to make decisions on their behalf, medically or otherwise. That's where the different types of DPOAs come into effect as well. So basically, a POA is something you would get for a temporary situation, and a DPOA is what you would get for a more permanent circumstance or situation. So again, Gypsy, this proves that your mom did not have incompetency papers on you. So that throws out your little excuse of, oh, well, I was scared to go to the police or have someone else go to the police for me because my mom had incompetency papers on me and she would just make me come back home. And that's what I was afraid of. That throws that out, Gypsy, so you can't use that as an excuse. You've also admitted yourself that you knew. Even in your medical documents, you admitted yourself that you knew your mom did not have incompetency papers on you. She could not make medical decisions for you. You signed for those procedures. You signed to have your teeth removed because you rotted them out. You should have been using your toothbrush in your mouth instead of the other end. Gypsy, you also knew that Nick was on permanent disability and that he needed help making decisions, medical decisions. Him and his biological father, Bobby, they don't believe in medicines. They don't believe in taking medicines and things like that. So he needed his mom to help him make decisions on things like that. You didn't know, Gypsy. That also proves to us that her mom was not giving her medications that she didn't need because Gypsy would have known better. So would you just lay there and let someone inject medications into you that you didn't need? No, you wouldn't. Just like you wouldn't sit in the back seat of a van while somebody was turned around allegedly punching you in the legs, leaving marks and bruises on you. You'd get up and get out of the car. But you didn't care what type of things Nick was dealing with. You didn't care, did you, Gypsy? No, you didn't. You used him for what you wanted from him. Just like you did Dan, just like you did Ryan, just like you're doing Ken. He's just too dingy to see it. Like I said, I know a lot of you may have already known all of this or have heard it before, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it again to bring up more thoughts, to get you thinking more, especially with the emails coming out and even more FOIAs and phone calls and all of that expected to come out as well. I just wanted to remind everyone a little bit just how manipulative and narcissistic Gypsy Rose Blanchard really is, and how she cares about no one but herself. And in our opinions, that includes her daughter. She does not even care about her as much as she cares about herself. But what do y'all think? What are y'all's thoughts and opinions on all of this? Let us know in the comment section down below. We'll be conversating with y'all like always. Again, we appreciate all of you that are subscribed to us. We love and appreciate all of you being a part of our family and channel. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell, all of the things, and we would greatly appreciate it so very much. I hope y'all found this video a little bit interesting, or at least informative. And we'll see y'all in the next one. And we hope y'all have a good night and God bless. Bye.